Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good evening. Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in good spirits, because why? Another day above the dirt is an absolute blessing. Let's not forget that, y'all. Let us not forget that, okay? But we got a very, very interesting and very eye-opening show for you guys this evening. And I appreciate every single one of y'all for being here and being a part of this conversation. Obviously, we are still in the conversation about the diddler. And this is something interesting. I found this to be interesting. And we got to talk about this. Okay? So before we get into everything, please do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. Crush it. Make it do what it do. If you're watching on other platforms, please be sure to crush that reaction button. If you're watching on these other platforms, you know what platforms I'm talking about. If you are watching on those platforms, make sure you hit that follow button. So follow me on Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Show some love. Go over there. Hit the follow button over there. Don't forget to subscribe here to the main channel, The Pascal Show, but also subscribe to my secondary channel, because there's a lot of updates, a lot of things that I'm doing in shorter formatted videos over on the second channel, The Pascal Show clips. And of course, sometimes there will be clips from these shows, from these live shows that will be over there as well. So make sure you subscribe to The Pascal Show clips. Please and thank you. Hit that join button down below. Become a member, all right? Become a member of the family, all right? Your boy's working hard out here in these streets to give you what you need. Of course, check out my Patreon if you want to support even further. That's all I ask. Check it out if you want to support. And of course, it's patreon.com/The Pascal Show. And I also have a merch page. Yes, your man's got some merch. So go check it out. PascalMerch.com. We got some really great t-shirts, hoodies, etc. You name it, we got it. Go check it out. I'm sure you'll find something you'll love right there. Anyway, guys, we got to get into this. Of course, we got some things to talk about. Okay, guys, obviously we have been here still talking about the diddler. Yes, Sean Diddy Combs has been out here, all right? He has been accused of many different things in a myriad of wild, scathing, unthinkable, disturbing, heartbreaking accusations. Just yesterday, we saw a lawyer, the attorney Tony Busby, drop some serious bombshells. In fact, 120 bombshells to be exact, giving us unbelievable details of what these 120 victims are alleging that they went through at the hands of Diddy and by the way, the hands or in audience of other household names. Yes, guys. They said these crimes were happening in people's homes, in celebrities' homes, or these celebrities were actually watching these things go down. This, and all the information that we've heard, is showing us proof positive that this man has evil, diabolical influence out here. Absolutely. It goes without question. But also, there are some things I'm actually very, very curious about. Like, for example, at one time, he was just Puff Daddy. He was just Puff. What was his rise to fame and rise to power? What was his rise to fame and rise to power like? Was he a nice guy? Was he a goody two-shoes type of individual? Is he exactly what we all learned to know, love, and respect before this devious demise? Was he that household name? Shucking and jiving into our TV TVs and all into our hearts and our minds at that time during his beginning stages of his career, or was he a deviant? That's one of the questions I'm actually kind of curious about. Well, actually, I'm blessed to have someone coming onto the show here in a second. His name is Relentless Aaron. He penned a book called The Night Puff Tried to Kill Me. And it's a memoir depicting exactly what he went through, a night where Puff actually tried to take his life. In fact, it ends up with a high-speed chase throughout the city streets of Manhattan. I keep on wondering, why did this happen? Was it because of jealousy? Was it because of just rage? What actually happened here? This all happened in the early 90s, right at that time when he was starting to make his rise to fame, make his name out here as Sean Puff Daddy Combs, promoting parties, etc. And yet he still was able to pull off some parties. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, he decides to take his sights, his anger, his bloodthirst rage, allegedly, towards our guest coming onto the show here right now. And I'm still kind of curious, why did this happen? The man who claims this whole thing went down is going to be joining us right now. So please welcome Relentless Aaron to the show. Relentless, what's good, man?
Peace and blessings, everybody, to the whole Pascal tribe. Woo.
I appreciate you being here, man. First off, I have a lot of questions here. Okay, because obviously this book, which is very well written, by the way. Okay, a lot better than this book. I'll keep it a buck. Okay, as far as the writing goes. Okay, you've definitely written some books in your day. I will say that. And actually, I'm curious, just real quick. It's a left turn a little bit, but I am kind of curious. First off, have you read this book? And second, do you believe this is really from Kim Porter?
Well, I will say that from what I've listened to it read, and I want to say that it's clever, but I want to know who the writer is, and so I did the deep dive, and I realized the writer is a writer. So I get it. At the end of the day, feeding in on the frenzy of what's going on. You give the people what they want, sort of supply and demand, put Puff out of the picture. If you talk about any hot topic, obviously this is the hot topic. So it makes sense for him to do what he did. And I can't be mad at another author, but I want to be mindful that there was a guy named James Frey back in the day who Oprah brought onto her platform. And he wrote a book called, I think it was A Million Little Pieces, if I'm not mistaken. And then somebody did the deep dive and realized it was BS. And then Oprah was called to task. And then, and then the publisher let him go and so on and so forth. So we have to be mindful what we grab onto. We're all trying to pick and pull at different angles and trying to put the story together and trying to figure it out. And I got to give praise to people like you who do a deeper dive, because you even said, well, listen, before we do anything, let me do my research. Let me check. And so I'm out there. Like if you Google Relentless Aaron, or you Google DeWitt Gilmore, or you Google The Night Puff Tried to Kill Me, you're going to see, like, I've been doing this for a minute. In fact, I just posted on where over 300 weeks ago, I posted on Andre Harrell's timeline. Mm-hmm. That's the car that Puffy chased me in. Not only that, if you go further back to 2003, 2004, I released a fictional book called Derelict. I'm one of the original G Unit authors, hired by 50 Cent and Simon and Schuster. And And so what I did was, because I was afraid of Diddy and his money and his goons, I decided to fictionalize my story. And so that's Derelict. And I only gave 50 Cent half the book because I know how he rolls, and I wanted a second backup deal, and I wanted a film deal. So I says, all right, I'm going to give you half of the book. And I changed the name. So I fictionalized this story in 2003. So I'm saying all that to say, like, I've been here. I'm a human being. I have my own reasons, and like all of these victims of Diddy through the years, they have their reasons, and we need to respect their reasons and isolate them and look at them instead of put us all in a bowl and throw some lighter fluid in there and say to hell with everybody. None of you matter, because if it was you in my shoes that night, attacked by Diddy and his goons and his guns, it'd be a different story, I promise you.
Right. Oh, no doubt. No doubt. So, okay, let's talk about this, because this whole thing that happened between you and Diddy, it was something that was kind of, it kind of was kind of like a slow cooker, right? It kind of had a slow burn. And then suddenly this thing happened, this night happened. So let's go back. Okay. This is what, 1991, right? You were promoting, you're a promoter in general. Same thing with Diddy. He was doing his promoting thing as well around that time. So you guys knew each other from the streets and all that stuff, from just the same circles, same line of work and all that. So take me back there. Take me back there a little bit.
My late friend Steven Giuliano owned a club called Bentley's in New York, and this is the hot club that everybody, the gangsters, the celebrities, you could find Mike Tyson in there, Eddie Murphy, even Madonna. You find them in Bentley's. And one night I'm in there with Andre Harrell, and I hired Andre on numerous occasions, and we partnered on some occasions, and he used to sell me radio time and all kinds of things. And so, but at this point, I had hired him to perform for me a few times. And now we're at the bar at Bentley's just talking. And then Puffy walks up, and then he says, "Hey, Gilmore, this is Puffy, my intern." And so we knew of each other, or I knew of him. He might have known of me. But at the end of the day, we're from Mount Vernon. Of course, he's partially from Mount Vernon, 1 foot in, 1 foot in Harlem, but because his parents were living in different places. But nevertheless, this is how we first met, on business. And so we began to do business, parties. I remember producing a party with them. They took place up in Portchester. I remember a party in New Rochelle. And I am the person that talked to him about doing a basketball game. And that's where things took a turn.
So this is a basketball game, kind of like a charity, raise a fundraiser type of thing. You're just giving back to the community, so on and so forth. You invite him to this actual basketball game, and then
it was deeper than that. It was deeper than that. We planned to promote and produce a basketball game together. So he was going to play on my team, right? He was going to play on my team against the radio station's basketball team. The radio station's team was called the Kiss Cards. The radio station was called Kiss FM. And I was putting a team together, not with me on the team. I was just going to kind of do the Fat Joe thing where I'm coaching the team. But I had some Mount Vernon players like Russ and Ray Williams and Gus Williams and some of the other Mount Vernon basketball players, and Puffy was going to be on my team. And so this was the plan. My game was planned, or our game was planned for that Friday. What he did is he went and sort of underhandedly, and I wasn't paying attention, but he underhandedly set up his own game for the very next day, which was on that Saturday. And that we all know as CCNY.
Now, yes, and that is the infamous Stampede, correct?
Yes.
That was when the Stampede happened, and a bunch of people lost their lives, and all that as well, which is really wild. So you invited him to kind of basically team up to promote a basketball kind of fundraiser type of event with the same radio station, but then you show up to the actual basketball event.
No. Oh, my
Oh,
basketball event.
yeah,
Yes.
yours.
On that
You
Friday.
show up on that Friday, and he ain't nowhere to be seen.
Didn't show up.
But then only to find out that he's on the radio with Wendy Williams, right? For
Yes, as soon as I left the basketball game, wondering what happened to Puffy, I leave and I actually hear him on the radio, Wendy, more or less promoting the very next day. Now, even though it was oversold, they had sold twice as many tickets than they had. Being on the radio talking about it and all the celebs that were involved, it was really promoting the CCNY event. And so
right,
I was hot. I'm going to be honest. I was hot. I was in my
of course.
feelings about the whole thing because I feel like he not only did he take my idea, but he didn't even. You could have said something. We could have co-partnered. We could have done a lot of things. But you want to be in charge. Okay, great. So of course we all know that 9 people passed. Not only 9 people, but the baby. There was a baby. There's a pregnant woman in those 9 people. So it's really 10 people, right?
Yeah,
And as a result of that, not karma. To me, it's karma.
yeah.
It happens.
I
And
mean,
but that's where the turn of events took place in my life, in my encounters with Puffy Diddy.
okay, because yeah, I know that that particular fundraiser that he was doing, it was like an AIDS fundraiser. The people of the likes of Heavy D were there in the sort, but then of course this, yeah, about nine,
But
10.
as Torre puts it, it was a basketball, a rap event disguised as a basketball game. Let's be
I see.
clear. Let's be
But
clear.
still, this was a infamous stampede,
Oh yeah,
infamous tragedy where a bunch of people lost their lives, and then he kind of went into hiding after that whole thing that went down, which
that's
is
right.
very, very wild. And of course, after this tragedy, that's so interesting, though, right? He was not
He
going
went high.
to.
Yeah,
Well,
that's his
no.
MO.
I'm saying the fact that you invited him to collaborate, do something to get together. He said, "Forget all that. I'm gonna do my own," and then he did you dirty by doing the event the very next day, and then of course all this went down. And I'm wondering if you were involved with his event. Do you think the stampede would have ever
It,
happened?
I think it would have been different because as what happened is I'm going to get into what happened immediately after, but
Sure.
I had done many shows and concerts, and so I was known for doing concerts and parties. So I know you have to have a certain amount of security. I know you can't oversell the event. You just can't do that. And so I would have had more security there. I would have done woulda, coulda, shoulda. At the end of the day. And so because of my involvement in promoting, because they couldn't get in touch with Puffy because he ran, which I said is his MO, I started to get phone calls, sir. I started to get phone calls. I actually was ranting about it. My dad had a strip club back in the day called Gilmore's in the Bronx,
Mm,
and I was in there drinking and carrying on that night, the night that people got stampeded, and I was in the VIP area going off, talking about karma and so on and so forth. And there was a daily news reporter there at the same time. And he put like one line in the newspaper the next morning, one
mm.
line. And I got a call from the next morning from Curtis Sliwa. He had a radio show on ABC called Curtis and Lisa in the Morning. And he called me. He woke me up around 7 a.m. or so. Woke me up. I'm like, I don't know how my phone number got in the press,
Right.
but my phone number wasn't in the newspaper. Anyway, he woke me up. He said, "Who's this P Diddy guy? And what's this? What is this? What's going on here?" Nobody had a clue. And
Right.
so, just like any event that we see on TV today, I guess I was a thought leader, even though I had bias. Don't get me wrong, I had bias, but at the end of the day, they wanted information. They want to know, how are these things planned without security? Who's in charge? Who's Puffy? So on and so forth. And I was the guy with the answers, and so I gave them the answers, and then it opened the floodgate of press and publicity. Good
Right.
Morning America called, and all these shows started to call me to go on their platform. But the one show that sent a limousine from New Jersey was 9 Broadcast Plaza. It was a big Maury Povich type of environment that
Right.
Richard Bey ran, and he sent a limousine, and they qualified me up front, got me on the show, and I went on there. I was on stage with Dougie Fresh and Sister Soldier and William Kunstler, the
Yeah.
popular attorney, and victims, by the way, of the CCNY tragedy. So it started to spin up.
Oh,
Yeah, the press, this you're talking about going viral. That was viral in the day. We didn't have social media. We didn't
yeah,
have
no
all that.
doubt.
Yeah.
So in other words, you were kind of like a talking head,
Yes, sir.
speaking about the stampede.
Yes, sir.
And of course, speaking your own 2 cents, putting in your own commentary in
Yes, sir.
regards to the stampede. And now, so how were you addressing everything? I mean, were you adamantly for something, or were you adamantly against something? Were you talking bad on
No,
Puff
no,
at that time?
I was just answering questions. That's it. It wasn't that kind of platform. It,
Okay,
it was a platform where they just wanted answers, and what would you have done if you were promoting something like this? Or
right.
can you tell me who Diddy is, or Puffy? He wasn't Diddy at the time; he was Puff Daddy. But they're asking questions like that on a stage, on a major platform of the day. And again, this was like a Maury Povich type of vibe. Like they had it going on. It was a strong broadcast, 9 Broadcast Plaza, Richard Bay, look it up. And so that was it. I wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna get Puffy. It wasn't anything like that.
Okay.
But I was speaking my mind. I'm a thought leader out here. I matter, or at the time I mattered, and today it's actually come full circle. Very interesting
Yeah.
term of events.
So okay, so you went to this event, you were at this event, and how were people responding? Was it all kind of the same? Were they taking you in with open arms, like just kind of willing to hear what you had to say, or were there some people out there trying to defend Diddy at that time?
So they put me on stage between William Kunstler and Dougie Fresh,
right,
and Sister Soldier and some families of the victims. So I was
Yep.
I was in a position for sure. But right there in the audience, Misa Hilton was sitting right there with her little band of Puff Daddy, followers. So they didn't pull Misa onto stage. They basically had her there because, not for nothing, she at the time she was a cheerleader for Puffy. I get it. It's not the same today because Misa clearly knows who he is and the monster he's become. But
No doubt.
that was the environment at the 9 Broadcast Plaza. It was a big deal, quite a big deal.
Yeah, I bet. So after that event, right?
Yeah, he got angry. He was angry.
Wait, so quick question.
Mhm.
So this was televised? Was this on the
Television.
radio? So
It
he
was-
saw this. So he saw this on the on the TV.
Yep.
This whole thing,
Yep.
and then he got mad about that. Now I'm curious. You say right now, with all due respect, of course, I'm just trying to get a better understanding of the whole thing. You
Yeah.
say that you didn't say anything that you think would have
Triggering.
Yeah. So why would he be pissed off at you if you were trying to be respectful the entire time?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I believe that just being on that platform was triggering to him because I'm also a promoter. He knows that we planned the basketball game. He knows that he snatched my idea and did it on his own. He knows that I'm his OG. Remember, Andre Harrell introduced me to his intern. I need y'all to be clear about that. So that was who I was at the time. And so that said, I can understand where he had some animosity, anger, like why is he up there talking about me or talking about events, whatever. The point is that it is what it is. If Richard Bay and his screeners and his showrunners thought that I was of value to their show, like I'm on your show, then so be it. I didn't have a product to sell. I didn't have an agenda. I didn't have a purpose. I was just doing what I do, which is telling stories. To be honest with you, it's just a different level. It was just a different level.
No, I get it. I get it.
Not only that, those showrunners, they kind of, euthanize you. They kind of like massage. Oh, come on, be on the show. We're not gonna. And on the show, they had my, my name and underneath it, promoter. That type of thing. So yeah.
Yeah, because I am kind of curious. Of course, Well, first off, I understand. I mean, yeah, I get it. They're gonna massage you until they get you out under the light, and then as soon as they say action, that's when they start hitting you with all these hard-hitting questions. You're like, wait a second, you said you guys were going to be nice to me. What the hell is this?
They run an
You know what
Oprah
I mean?
on you. They run an
Yeah.
Oprah on you, or a
Oh,
Gayle
we
King.
love you. You know what I mean? We love you. And then you're up there going, y'all are killing me over here. You know, doing a R. Kelly up in this piece. You know what I'm saying? So so I do understand. Trust me, I've seen it. I've seen it in real life. It does definitely goes down like that. So let's go to the time that, you know,
Yeah. So,
let's get to that, because I am kind of curious, because I am kind of curious about, okay, so he's not happy about the chat that you had on this TV show. He sees that, it angers him. Before everything hell breaks loose in the streets of Manhattan, was there another encounter with him at all before that?
So there were a few other situations. The most memorable was well, there was a couple. I used to go to the Def Jam recordings, and if you go to YouTube and you look at old Def Jam recordings, you'll actually see me in the audience. I had a relationship with Russell Simmons, a business relationship with all of Def Jam, and so I would go to these filmings. And there was one time that I came out at the let out of Def Jam, and Puffy had his baby boy Christian, I guess, on his shoulder, or whoever the child was. And he's like, "Oh, hey, say hi to Gilmore," kind of patronizing me. Okay, so that was one. It kind of upset me, but it's whatever. And then there was another occasion when Biggie and Pac were on stage at the Palladium. And Francesca Spiro, who, God bless her, she's passed now, but she was running that, and she invited me to film the Party and Bullshit live. It's a very popular thing where Biggie and Pac were on stage together. And so I was filming that, but I got a chance to be alone with Puff. He was passing me at the Palladium. I was passing him. And I said, "What's up, Puff? Let's shake it out." And he's like, "Fuck y'all, whatever." He kept walking, but then he turns around. He's like, "Yo." And he says, he puts his hand out, and we shake and we give a hug. And I guess we squashed things, I'm sorry. So, we didn't apologize, but we just like sort of squashed things. Okay. That was the second time I saw him. The third time I saw him, I saw him. He tried to come to one of my parties in New Rochelle. I was running big parties, had big names of the day that would show up at my parties. In fact, this day, Mike Tyson was in the room, but the fire marshal was at the door, and he wouldn't let anybody else in. And they told me, "Hey, Puffy's at the door." And so I go to the door, and Puff is out there with like 10 people. So number one, on GP, I couldn't let him in, right? Unless I let 10 people out, 11.
Wait. So sorry. I just want to make sure we all understand. So you were a part of another event, right?
That I promoted. My parties.
And it was lit. Okay.
Yeah, it was packed.
It was lit. It was definitely. Yeah. Okay. So it was beyond capacity. And then he shows up with his crew trying to get in, about 10 people trying to get into this club or into this event. And you were one of the people that actually turned him away.
No, I was the person. They called me to the door.
Damn.
Puffy's at the door. I go to the door, and it's not just him. It's him and 10 people. So I find myself in an interesting situation. He no-showed me at my basketball game. Anyway, long story short.
No, but I can see optically how that could look a little bit weird. How like the tables kind of turned in a way, and then he might take it some type of way, like, "Oh, you just trying to you still salty, you still in your fifis about what happened with that basketball game," type thing, right?
But honestly,
is that what you're trying to say?
Yes, but only in the back of my mind that was going on. I didn't get in his face and say, "Yo, I'm not letting you in." No, I said, Puff, we're over capacity. I got the fire marshal here. I can't do anything.
Right.
And so I basically turned him away. Who turns Puffy away? By the way, Puffy was a bigger deal then, especially after the CCNY. He was a much bigger deal by this point. He was producing records. He wasn't just dancing for Father MC, but he was doing things. And so for him to show up like that at my party, I felt blessed. But I already had celebs in there like Big Les at my event, and like I say, Tyson and some other names. But turning him away, I had to do, but
Hmm.
you know, it is what it is. So
But
those were the equations that
but
I
how,
saw him. Go ahead.
sure, sure. I mean, sorry about that. But
Mhm.
how did he take it though? Like when you said, "Hey, listen, we're at capacity. I'm sorry you can't get in." How did he take it right then and there? Did you know that he was angry, or did he say, "Oh no, it's all love," and leave?
My answer to that is like like I didn't care. I
Yeah,
didn't care, at least on that particular, like my ego was speaking for me, right?
no
I will
doubt,
say
no doubt.
that. I was younger. I wasn't like totally kumbaya, but at the end of the day, you know, it is what it is. So that was the third equation that we had to run in. The next equation, the last equation, was my dad owned a strip club in the Bronx called Gilmore's. Um, uh, Big history, Gilmore's Fool's Paradise. And so Puff comes to the door again with his band of goons. And by the way, there's a line outside of the club because we have Vanessa Del Rey performing there that night.
Mm.
A line of people, four deep, four wide, and probably a block deep. If you can imagine just the sea of people out there trying to get into this one club. But what we were doing was we were clearing the club 2 times to have 3 shows. We were clearing the club. So
Wow.
we were, you know, but he comes in, walks in front of the line, wants to get in. I turn him down. Unfortunately, I couldn't do it.
Oh,
So
again,
yeah, again, it is what it is.
damn.
So yeah,
Okay.
that probably teed him off. You can't get in my parties. I was on TV, to maybe in his light talking stuff, but that it is, you know.
Yeah. No, no, no. I mean, I get it.
Mhm.
I mean, I get it. You know what I mean? I could see how like I said, it's a slow burn, right? It's a slow burner, slow cooker until this moment, right? Until
But
this
I will say that I
moment.
never was violent towards him. I never struck out against him. We were always able to, you know, talk. It was never like that. You know, it was always about me. Look, I'm not no thug from the streets. I'm not in no gangs, nothing. I'm an entrepreneur who just did it from the dirt. I come from a dad who at age 17 had his leg severed off because of a baseball accident in White Plains, who got
Mm,
a prosthesis, and then he went on to own a little card shop in Mount Vernon, and then eventually a chain of delicatessens and a bar that was very popular called Gilmore's, and a liquor store and rental income property. So my dad is, you know, the reason I'm here. You understand? I
no
am
doubt.
the chip off the old block. I am going to be resourceful because that's what my dad was. That's what spilled over onto me. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying?
Oh, I get it.
So that's just who I am. I'm not, like I said, I'm not no thug or whatever. Talk tough talking, you know, get in your face. None of that. just an entrepreneur. It's kumbaya for me.
And I love hearing that. I love hearing that. Real talk. Um, but okay. I have a lot of questions for you because it has to do with other people surrounding Diddy and all that as well. We're going to get to that here in a second. But real quick, guys, just a quick little commercial break here for a second. I see a bunch of y'all in here. Welcome to the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. It really means a lot. Seriously, thank you so much. Make sure you hit that like button down below. Let's get it past. Let's get 1.5K. How's that? If you appreciate the conversation, you appreciate this interview, please hit that like button down below. It don't cost a thing. All right. It's a free 99. Okay. So hit that like button down below. Let's get it to 1.5K real quick. All right. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button if you're watching on other platforms. Make sure you go to my secondary channel, the Pascal Show Clips. Please, we're this close to 10,000 to 10K subscribers on the second channel. So please subscribe over there. That'd be greatly appreciated. Okay. Now we going back into this. Okay. Relentless. I have some questions now. 3 times. Okay. It's a comedy happens in threes, right? You know, you had the situation with you had the situation with the fundraiser, you had the situation with the TV show, then the actually it's like the TV show, the club, right, where you turned him away, then it was the strip club with the performance, right? You turned him away again. So the fourth time you met up or ran into him again, what was his demeanor like in the very beginning?
You talking about this when he came to my dad's strip
Yes.
club? Um, he didn't show any frustration. I mean, how could you argue? First of all, we didn't have a fire marshal at my dad's club though. Like we really had the sort of rite of passage. The firemen were trying to get in the club on that night, but he obviously saw that we were a block deep and four wide with all of these men trying to get into the club. So it wasn't like this is my fault you can't get in. It's your fault. Maybe you didn't reach out to me earlier. You didn't get passes earlier. I had some
Right.
VIP passes, so it wasn't me. It just happens to be your Diddy timing, your sense of sort of entitlement, which rightfully so. If you're a promoter at the time and going in and out of clubs like I was, and you have a magazine like I had, and you have a TV show like I had, and you have all, and you're doing live events, then other promoters are going to give you grace, and they're going to let you in just because of who you are. That's just that life that I was living. And so
Right.
yes, for him to be turned away time and again from a situation that I was running, I can imagine that he was upset. But
Yeah.
there was one other occasion. I was backstage at Madison Square Garden, Jodeci, Whitney Houston,
Mm.
Mary J. Blige, and Puffy comes up to me. This is after those club events, and that's his world, by the way. It's his world. I got my camera team. We're about to go in and do the interview with Jodeci. Puffy comes up to me and he says, "Bro, every time I see you, I wanna." Like this is what he did. This
Wait,
is what he
what?
did.
What?
Like, it was wild because it was just so like, whoa. It was like, this is what he did. And I was against the wall. He put his hands on the wall next to me. Like,
Oh no.
yeah, like, okay, this is a Diddy moment. Puff, this is a Diddy moment. This is a brother love moment. But I have my people with me, and honestly, they. I'm sorry, yeah, but that's what happened.
And you had the camera. Isn't that funny?
But
Where was the baby oil?
there was a
That's what
lot
I
of
want to know.
people. There were a lot of people around, celebrities and behind the scenes. This is the dungeon at Madison Square Garden. So where you see the basketball players, they come through, that type of thing.
Yeah,
And
no
the
doubt.
boxers. So I'm standing there with my team, getting ready to go see Jodeci for the interview, and he comes up to me, with his people, and he says, "Yo, every time I see you, it's like I'm gonna like that," and so I'm like, okay. So he left. He walked away. I would tell you that it created something in me,
That's
but
so odd.
but what he did is he shut down the interview with Jodeci. That's what he did, because of course their relationship is stronger than mine. I don't know if you saw Jodeci, and I had me and Dalvin, and me and Devontae. We had some business relations where he was going to actually buy my father's club, and I was going to run it. So he had been in the club. That there's a picture, famous picture that I have with me, and I'm like the fourth Jodeci member, or the fifth Jodeci member. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that said, he shut down the interview, and I was escorted out of Madison Square Garden with my camera crew. And so, yeah, that was the last time that I saw him. I don't know if I even involved that in the book, but I think I did. But that was it, because
Yeah.
it was more visual than anything. It's very, what
Yeah.
I just did was exactly what I saw.
Right. And then it's like, how do you put that into words? How do you write that into words and explain it? You know what I mean? Because yeah.
I got 110 books. I'm prolific, as Nipsey says. So
Right.
that one right there is just like,
yeah, that's crazy. So okay, so now we're at the place where all hell breaks loose, right?
yeah.
So let's get there. What's going on there?
So my magazine was run by revenue that was paid for by the business owners in New York, and
Mm,
I would go. We didn't have PayPal or Cash App or Apple Pay, so what I would do is I would go and drive from Mount Vernon into the city, and I would make my runs and my pickups. I would drop off the new magazine. I would pick up money from nightclubs, restaurants, barbershops, etc. And I had Lance with me. Lance was my security. He's carrying, but tonight he wasn't carrying. And Rico was in the back seat.
mm-hmm.
And so we go to the Bronx and we go to Harlem. In Harlem, we run into this guy who's promoting Death Row East, and that's going to be a New York or East Coast record label that is unifying the East Coast and West Coast. And the brother had T-shirts, and he says, "Hey, would you wear my shirt?" I'm like, "Sure." He's giving out shirts, and it said Death Row, like he says love. He said Death Row East, but it's a white shirt and with bold black lettering. And so I threw the shirt on. Right. I'm not in the East Coast, West Coast thing. I'm literally an entrepreneur from the tri-state area. I'm not thinking about that beef. I knew about it, but whatever. So I wore it.
But this, of course, was during that time, during the beef, when the beef was at its height.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And so I'm leaving Harlem and heading down to New York City. We had stopped maybe 20 stops along the way.
Yeah.
And in New York, we go to a club called Downtime. Downtime was not far from Herald Square. Herald Square, you all know, because that's where the Macy's Day Parade is staged every year for television. But we're around the corner at a club called Downtime, and my friend Red Alert was DJing that night. And so we passed the line pretty much like Puffy did at my parties, and they let me in to the club. By the way, outside the club, there weren't a lot of people except for the people online, right? That couldn't get in.
Right.
So we go in the club, we it's packed. We say our hellos, we get our shout outs on the loudspeaker. We're promoting the magazine. I'm in there for an hour. I come out of the club, and now there's a sea of people outside, music playing. The fire marshal is not letting anybody else in. There's a party outside. Let me tell you, you know how we do. Okay. Right. If we can't get in, we're going to party any old way. So we're outside, people standing on cars. It looks like Freaknik all over. So, but look, I did my business. My Isuzu Trooper stick shift is right across the street. None of the parking spaces are open, but we go to the truck. I'm going into the driver's seat. Lance gets into the passenger seat, and Rico is sitting in the back. Right. So this is where the shit hits the fan. By the way, remember, I got the Death Row East T-shirt. It's brightly lit out in the streets of New York in front of this nightclub. Puffy pulls up.
And but he pulls
but
up.
He's in the passenger seat. He's not driving. I believe it's Wolf. I talked to Gene Deal on occasion, and he said that wasn't me. I heard about it, but I was not driving. So I think it was Wolf or one of his boys that were driving. He was in the passenger seat, and he pulls up beside my truck. Right. And he says, "What's up to Rico first?" Right. And then he signals his guy to pull up a little more, and then he looks at Lance, and he gives a head nod to Lance. And Lance is like, "What's up?" And then to me, he says, "What's up, bitch?"
Okay.
So, and now, mind you, we're literally like 2 feet from each other because he's in the passenger seat and I'm in the driver's seat. So we're literally right here. Right. And I literally play Kumbaya. I was just like, "No, dude, we know you are trouble. I'm not interested. Just go on about your business. I mind my business. You mind yours. I don't want you a bitch."
Wow.
So he said that. I look at Lance and I'm like, Lance gives me that look like, "What you gonna do?"
Yeah.
Go ahead. You about to say something?
Oh, no. I'm just like, there's so much animosity so fast, right?
It went from 0 to 60 super fast.
Yeah, but continue. You were saying. I didn't want to interrupt.
But what I was going to say was that Lance is alive and well today. And Lance don't mind coming on your live, bro, and telling the story, by the way. I'm just letting you know.
Oh, I know. And let's I mean, if Lance is, I see him there, but his devices aren't connected. But
really? He's on the live?
He's there, but he's not connected.
Is he commenting and stuff?
I don't know if he's talking in the chat. I'm saying he has the link, so he is in the backstage of this.
Wow, that's crazy.
Of this show.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Tell him to hop on.
Let me see something.
Because he's not connected. None of his devices are connected.
What's up, man? Yeah, I just heard. I'm on.
Can you hear him?
I can hear. Let me turn this thing.
Yeah, tell him to
turn your back stuff off, Lance, like the volume.
turn on the devices and all that, like, turn the
Okay,
camera
so
on, turn the audio, all
can
that
you,
stuff.
but as long as you can hear him, Lance, that's what's important.
I can hear him.
All right, so tell what happened, I guess, from your perspective after we got in the truck.
Actually, okay, we got in the truck, right? I was in the passenger seat watching people dancing. I saw the car. I just saw the driver. I just like nodded to the driver. I didn't see Puffy. So we leave, right? We leave. We go like up a block, and I'm always aware of watching what's going on. And I'm looking at these like 5, 6 cars behind us jostling, like they're trying to like run up on something. I don't know what's going on. And all of a sudden, Mercedes-Benz pulls up on my side, and I hear a guy go, "Yo, bitch. Yo, bitch." And I looked in the car, and all I saw was this nighttime, 2 guys, like they got fur jackets on with sunglasses on, so they called up, so he's stupid. And I looked at Gilmore, and I said, are they talking to you? Because I was 2 seconds off of just opening up the door and jumping in there and beating the crap out of these 2 guys. I don't know who they are.
Right.
Bitch. And he goes, "Yo, what's up, Puffy?" And I go, "Puffy? What the fuck is a Puffy?" So now they're going back and forth. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Right?
Yeah.
Puffy, they try to cut us off. We turn on 6th Avenue, right? Make a left on 6th Avenue. He tries to cut us off. I took the wheel and snatched it to the right. So Gilmore almost hits him, but we stop. Puffy jumps out. He's waving like, come on. You want to do it? Let's go. And Gilmore's looking at Puffy, but I'm watching Puffy looking to his left. And I look, and I see all those same cars, a bunch of guys getting out. I'm like, okay, I'm not strapped. I don't know what's going on. I said, Gilmore, I don't think that's a good idea. And all of a sudden, pop, Gilmore takes off. Now, mind you, I'm like, yo, we going through red lights and everything else. All these cars is chasing us. I'm cool. I'm really cool. I'm just sitting there like, okay, as long as we're ahead of them, no problem. Took the wheel, snatched it from Gilmore. I don't know if he remembers that. On 41st Street, went down a one-way street in the wrong direction. They almost crashed.
Whoa.
He goes down 2 blocks, makes a left, makes a right. Now we're on the Papa Street, jumps on 125th Street. And then I realized, like, wait a minute, there's a bullet hole in the window by me. And then I realized Rico hasn't got up. So I'm thinking they shot Rico. And I'm just like, no, Joe, what the hell? And then Rico gets up, and I realize he's crying in the back. So I'm like, don't ever bring him around us again. He can't be with us.
Yeah.
But I remember I told Gilmore, give me your car, because they know your car. Take my car, I'll drive your car around, so they don't know. So that's what happened with me.
Wow, Lance. So Lance, can you explain, let everybody know who you are, in relation to Relentless?
Yeah, so Lance, he's just saying, could you tell him who you are in relation to me?
Oh, well, I've known Gilmore for a long time. I did security for Superstar Magazine for Gilmore, and like I said, to go with him when he picked up money and everything else. He just happened one night to say, "Yo, you want to roll with me? I'm just gonna pick up some money." So I was like, "All right, fine. It's just a hangout. That's what we just hanging out." So
wow.
Yeah, I did security with him. I worked with his dad. So I've known Gilmore for a long time.
Damn. Tell Lance thank you for hopping on. And
Lance, he said thank you for hopping on. We'll talk later, Lance. And so
we'll talk later.
All right.
You got it. I'm keying in on this, and just to let you know, two times. Yeah, I was one of the guys that turned Puffy away from. Didn't realize didn't know who he was, but he couldn't get into the show with the Vanessa Del Rio. He couldn't get in because we were booked.
Right.
Booked solid.
Right. Yeah.
So all right.
Yep.
Man.
All right. Thanks, Lance. So the crazy thing is that's the first time he's ever spoken about like this, and y'all, I'm emotional because it's not like I'm a novelist and all that, and I've been publicized all over the world for what I do, but Lance, people don't know his greatness. People don't know who he is, what his potential is. And that we didn't have social media. We didn't have cameras around and surveillance cameras. So essentially you're saying like, I'm willing to wipe you guys out, right? So that you no longer matter. Right. And so for me, like the letter I wrote to the judge today, the law firm that I'm dealing with today, keep his ass locked up. He's a danger to society for decades.
Yeah.
He's worse than Hannibal.
Yeah. So explain this to me though, because I want to hear your perspective of the chase as well here. But real quick, what law firm are you talking to right now?
Oh, I'm not just talking to them. I'm now a client of Mr. Busby,
Tony Busby.
the one that you saw on the press conference yesterday.
That's
So
what's up.
I'm now part of that. So I could, I wasn't going to do it. I don't need his money. I really wanted street justice, to be honest with you. We didn't go to the police that night. Lance didn't tell you that. We didn't go to the police that night. Like I was trained to take apart and put a M16 together in 60 seconds flat. That's what the Marines did to me.
Right,
okay?
right.
So it was, I wasn't about going to the police. It was going to be street justice. Misa lived right down the block from me in New Rochelle. We knew him to go pick up his kids and drop off his kids. Like, this was my state of mind at the time. But what happened and what intervened, and thank God it intervened, is I was taken off on unrelated issues. I was put in prison on unrelated issues. And so for 7 years, I lived with this in my mind, and I wrote this book and many other books while I was in there. But that's what happened, and that's why that street justice didn't go down. So if anybody's wondering, like, why didn't you go to police? This is why. So
no doubt. No, and again, I appreciate you sharing, sharing this, and bringing Lance on, because it's nice to hear another person, that was actually there. Because, I'm sure there's a lot of people that are sitting there going like, man, this is cap. This is all one big, just bold-faced lie. He's just lying for the clout, right? So it is nice to hear somebody else there that was there and can give basically almost the same breakdown
of who this dude
of what
is.
happened. Yeah.
Right.
So he pulls up. I'm going to share this again, because you did share this on your Instagram. You even shared it with me. This is the reason why I have this. But he pulled up in this car, okay, not with Andre Harrell, okay, and Andre Harrell, but right. He was in the ride with some of his goons, and then he let you guys like pull out of the parking spot, and then all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose. So I want to hear from your perspective, in your point of view, when you pulled out of the parking spot, what happened then?
So we drive up to he backed out. There was a car in front of me and a car in back of me, so there was really no way to get out. He just blocked me in for the moment of that he wanted to do his whole thing, and he backed out. So I figured it was over with, like, okay, he was just BSing, just wanted to run his mouth. So I pull out of the parking space and I pull up to a red light, and that's when Lance is like, yo, dude, he's behind you. So I didn't think nothing of it. I turned the left turn on at the light. Now I'm in Herald Square, and as I said earlier, Herald Square is where they stage the Macy's Day Parade every year.
Yeah.
And but this is 1 o'clock in the morning. Nobody's out there. We pull through Herald Square, and what he does is he's not driving, but his bodyguard is. He pulls over in front of my Isuzu Trooper and kind of forces me to the island. So because I didn't want to hit the car, he forced me to the island. So I think Lance reached in and grabbed the wheel and pushed me over. So now I'm at the island, and that's when all hell broke loose. Like, is he coming to attack me? What's going on? So he jumps out, his bodyguard jumps out, Lance and I get out. And that's when we realized he had probably 10 to 12 people with him. There were 4 cars with him. We didn't see that.
So those cars just showed up out of the blue, out of nowhere.
They were with him. I didn't see them. Lance has a different perspective as I do, but I'm thinking, oh, this is just that little coupe that you pulling up in. Nah, he had 4 other cars, a pack of them, his wolf pack. And so this ain't gonna be no one-on-one. This about to be a stomp out something. But
Yeah.
before we even get to that, pop, 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 like the bullet blast. But I hear one pop. Lance is like, gun, gun. And so when he said that, I was quick. I was just quick with it. He was quick with it. We jump in the truck. And now I jump over the island in the Isuzu Trooper, and and I say the Isuzu because I want y'all to know the Isuzu Trooper it's like a horse.
Yeah.
It's a horse. And so I'm jumping over the island, and then now it's a car chase. Now I got all these cars chasing me. And like he said, one ways, I'm driving on sidewalks. At one point, I'm on two wheels, and I'm literally fighting for my life at this point. Like, what are they going to do when they catch me? And first of all, what did I do to you in the first place, right? For this to be what it became. Okay. So there was a point that I ran a red light. There was a tractor trailer coming. It nearly missed me. We, like he said, we end up on the West Side Highway, and we're heading northbound to Westchester County. And it's just like a whole bunch of emotions and rage and young, aggression that's going on in this truck. We're screaming, we're yelling, we're spazzing out, man.
No
And
doubt.
at the end of the day, like it wasn't police station, let's file a report. It was like street retaliate, it's going down. Like that's what was in my heart. So yeah.
So I'm curious, what time of night was this? Because if you're
1 a.m.
driving through, okay, because I was gonna say one in the like if this was like in the middle of the day, because I'm a former New Yorker, so and I know New York streets very well, and it's it's busy 9 times out of 10, right? But I was kind of curious how you were able to drive through the streets without like, and then also on top of that, ain't no cops hearing no clap noise, nothing. You know what I mean? So I'm curious about that too.
Well, when you say cops, there was no cops out there. There was no surveillance cameras. It wasn't a control. Like New York is very controlled now. You might have a police vehicle on every 2 blocks now. It's crazy out there. But this wasn't that. This was a different time, a different space. All I could say is it looked like it was me and Lance and Rico and all of those dudes. Me against the world, to be honest with you. And so, yeah, there was some cars. I had to go around. Like I said, I had to drive on the sidewalk. I had to do whatever I had to do to get away from these guys because we were outmatched, outnumbered, and outgunned.
Yeah.
Okay. So at the end of the day, like that was my trauma that I had to deal with. I just pivot and do what I could to be resourceful in that equation so that I could spare my life.
No doubt. No doubt. So how were you able to fully like get away with it from him successfully? What happened?
I think it was going on the one way, going down the one way, but I also think it was driving on the sidewalk. My audacity at that point was
it's survival, right? It's
survival mode. And I don't think that he wanted to pull his sports car onto the sidewalk, and the cars were behind him were stuck. So you got a funnel. And he's behind, and they're behind him. They can't go past him. So for whatever reason, I didn't care. My eyes weren't back there. My eyes were forward.
Right.
I was focused on living. I was focused on getting away from him. And even ran a red light and put my life or our lives even further at risk to run the red light at 7th Avenue and I think around 43rd Street. Just getting away from this dude, that was the goal. And goal achieved, by the way.
No doubt. I mean, first off, I appreciate you. I appreciate you just reliving the experience. I mean, that's some wild stuff. Did you ever file? Did you ever go to police and file a report at all about this attack?
At the time, no, but now with the attorneys, they tell me that it's still possible to file the police report. So I don't know, but I'm just gonna leave it in their hands. But honestly, no. Again, street justice. That's what I wanted. Like for me, it was like the wife, the kids, they could all go. Like I'm telling you, my state of mind. That the trigger that did for me is that I wanted, like I was gonna be, America's #1 at that point, most wanted, because I wanted retaliation. I was beyond kumbaya. He had put our lives on edge at that point, and so I don't know. I was young. I had an, he triggered that whole state of mind, and that's what happened. So again, thank God I
Right.
got swept up off the streets for some unrelated stuff that I was doing in the daytime. It had to do with bank fraud and what have you. But thank God, like that was a life changer. Not just what I went through, but also being swept up off the streets, because when you're in handcuffs like he is now, and you're in behind bars, you can't do anything. So you have to live with and resolve whatever going on in your mind. You got to resolve that, and that's what I did. I just resolved that by pouring into books,
Right.
pouring into Derelict, the book how I fictionalized this encounter in
Yeah.
Derelict, and then eventually now my memoir, which I felt comfortable with writing in December and releasing in December, and then dropping now. Feel safe. I feel safe with him off the streets. I feel safe with him locked up. Yeah, I did that little comment on Andre Harrell's IG back in the day. Andre was still alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was you see it. It was like almost 300 weeks ago that I posted that. So I've been living with this. You see that, so it's not just like this is jump on the bandwagon. No,
Yeah, no doubt. You were
this
you were
is
you were
progressive
processing.
PSD. you
Yeah,
know,
yeah. No, you were processing everything. You're just going through it as much as you
and then
can, and
with all
then
the victims that he's created over the decades, it tells me that I'm underneath that whole stack. Like I've
right.
been erased, just like he's done, just like what allegedly what's going on with other people, the gun activity, the you see what he did to Cassie. You can't dispute these things. These things that people are saying, hanging somebody off of a balcony. But now he has power and influence, and he has goons.
Right.
So he has he can't be the coward that we knew him as, just Puff Daddy. He's now empowered by all of this money, and you know what I mean. So
Yeah,
that's what I was afraid of. And so, but now again, I feel safe.
absolutely. I
Until the
mean,
next episode.
I feel like everybody that has ever been in his path, who's ever been attacked, coerced, harassed, any of those things, I feel like you are echoing the same thing that a lot of other people are feeling as well. And I think that now, because now we're seeing 120 individuals, I guess 121, including you, right, stepping forward and speaking out. I mean, it shows that people aren't as scared anymore, right? Because when he was out, he had this reign of terror, this reign of power. And I get it. I wouldn't want to write anything either if I was, if I was attacked by him or anything of that sort. I wouldn't want to file any type of lawsuits or anything, because I know for a fact he'd find a way to find me. And I don't want that. You see what I'm saying? I just want justice. But I got
how about I just want to live and breathe and just live peacefully and mind my business and serve others. And how about that part? Like without you intervening in my life, whether it was in 96 or if it's today, like leave people alone.
No doubt.
Like leave people alone.
Yeah. I mean, but I do think it's amazing that you are taking the trauma, you are taking this terrible experience, and you're funneling it in a creative way. So you are taking that negative energy and turning it into something positive, because somebody else is going to read that book. Okay. Somebody else is going to read your books, and they're going to be enlightened in some sort of way, whether it's being, entertainment, or take something away from your books in a type of a learning type of lesson type of way as well. So again, unlike a lot of people, I would say, there's a lot of people that will sit and fester. You took the time to use this trauma, use this experience to funnel 31 books, you said, right? So I mean, I think it's an amazing thing that you're, I think that's an amazing thing that you're taking the time to do that, right? Not everybody is able to do that. So I commend you for doing that and finding an outlet out here.
Lemonade.
Absolutely.
That's what I've done, and that's what I've been doing all my life. And so I'm not going to be I'm not going to be his victim. I'm not going to
Absolutely.
be. I'm not going to carry his that on my legacy. Yeah, I'm a footnote in your life and all that, and maybe a foot on your neck at this point. But because with given the Kim book, and I understand the Kim book, but this is a way different story. This also lays out all of the tapestry leading up to Diddy, also meeting Puffy, but also it lays out all of the intricacies of how he came up, and also not just that. Like it's a timeline. This is a timeline. It's an unmatched timeline from when Andre Harrell introduced me to what happened to today. And I think everybody's got a story to tell. If any
Mhm.
of those victims, actually, to be honest with you, ever since I dropped that book, I've been getting contacted. Not, in fact, one woman who hosted my TV show back in the day. Her name is Angela. She worked at Uptown, and he barricaded her in the office because she's a very pretty girl. He barricaded her in the office, wouldn't let her out because he wanted to get in her pants.
Oh boy.
And this is very interesting because I'm hearing all the stories now about what he did in his office. But the Hank Shockleys of the world and all of those folks that were in the building at the time, Heavy D, they stepped to Puff and told him, like, don't leave that girl alone. And so there's some complicity going on, even though they stepped to him. Like, how far does that go? Because he's also responsible for them to get money. But
Yeah.
but she stepped out the industry. She was afraid to like bring her story forth, and this happened years and years ago. She's paranoid to this day.
No doubt.
So like this is people that are contacting me now, embracing me now, as a result, because I'm part of the tribe of Puffy victims, Diddy, Sean Combs victims. And we want him to stay locked up. What about the 3,000 inquiries? 120 of them that I'm a part of are the people that the Busby has grabbed already. They're still vetting out the others.
Oh yeah.
How many people? Because that's all you had was time on your hand. You had money, so you didn't have to go work a 9 to 5. And you're skinny as all get out. So I don't know if you were working on your health, but you're definitely interacting with other people on a horizontal basis, right? Without
Right.
and so you're doing that every day, in every state that you go and do your
I mean,
shows, and every country. Like,
he was
how deep
definitely
does this go?
he was definitely busy. I mean, that's he was definitely busy. He found time. Okay.
How deep does
And
this go?
again, how deep does it go? And you got to remember, it is 30 plus years that he's been doing
Of
this. I
this
mean,
nonsense.
I know that Tony Busby said this has been going on for over 20 years, but if you really think about it, it's been going on well over 30 plus years. So that's a lot to dissect.
It's
Now
okay.
I got a couple questions for you
Mm-hmm.
though,
Mm-hmm.
because of course we're gonna have to
Okay.
wrap up this show here soon. But I do have a couple questions for you. When it comes to Andre Harrell,
Yeah.
I've been kind of curious about this because I know that you knew him back in the day when he was part of the group Dr. Jekyll, Mr.
Dr.
Hyde.
Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Mhm.
So what is the story with that? I mean,
Look,
what's
Andre
the
is
story?
the coolest nerd that you can imagine. He's a gentle heart. He's not a street thug. Remember, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde used to come on stage wearing suits and ties. They're
Right.
one of the first people that did that. So like this is who he was. He literally worked in the daytime as a radio. He sold radio ads, right? And the rap thing was like, his nightlife, nightlife. So this is, I mean, he's cool people. I never had a falling out with Andre. Andre and I were cool as hell. We could have these conversations at the bar in Bentley's. We could be on the phone. We could do deals, things like that. Andre was cool people. He's nothing like the monster that came up under him. In fact, if you all remember the timeline, Andre and Puff parted amicably, but he had to fire him from Uptown because of CCNY. And that was the birth of Bad Boy Records. You understand? So, and then
Oh.
eventually later, Puffy hired Andre, which was years later. But I'm just saying, like, he had to let him go, but they did it in a way that was respectful, so that the crowd, because we have social media, so the crowd didn't say, "Oh, he got fired." No, it wasn't that. Because they made it a clean break, so that he can move on and do Bad Boy Records. So, this is the timeline here. But Andre's the coolest dude. I throw no mud on his name, but he is responsible for introducing me to the Puff Daddy.
Okay, so, but what about because I got two more things. Russell Simmons. Okay. Now we all know he's doing sun salutations in Bali right now because of some very unthinkable things. But
Russell was my first business partner.
But yeah, okay.
And,
so
Russell's a whore.
Oh,
he's
damn. Oh, damn.
You can throw the bam, 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 bam.
I was gonna say, I know I didn't touch any of them, but I'm gonna do it now. He's a whore?
He's a 100% whore.
Wait. But when you say that, that's a hard word to say about a human being. So explain to me how he is that. How?
So if you look at Russell and you take away the eyes and the mouth, he is a dick. That's exactly no. I'm just like, I'm sorry. He's the grandfather of hip hop, and he is a dick.
Oh my God.
Without discipline. So I'm surprised all of the women that he took advantage of, and shout out to Drew Dixon, all the women that he took advantage of, and I'm surprised that the cases didn't catch him earlier. The reason he's in Bali is because he cannot be extradited.
Nope.
The reason why they changed the laws in New York are because of Drew Dixon and people like Gloria Allred, and people are pushing the envelope for victims. Okay, he can't come back to New York because not just the laws, but he can't come back to New York because if you catch the right dude that feels like he did this to all the women, he'll get hurt. So he needs to stay in Bali. That's where he should be.
So you believe
I've seen him at work. What's that?
You've seen him at work?
I've seen him at work with the different, like a different girl every day, a different model every day. You haven't seen the bit where he's asking one girl on video, by the way, did we go to bed together? Like he literally, he was going through so many women that he didn't even know like who he's been with, that type of thing. So the money does that, and the lack of discipline. Right?
So you believe the allegations against Russell Simmons are true?
10,000%. 10,000%.
Wow. Because there was allegations about even Kimora Lee Simmons, his ex-wife, her being underage. Go ahead.
No. I understand.
I'm just trying to finish the question. Her being underage. Is that actually, are those allegations actually true? Was she really underage?
That's what Russell went after. Young, impressionable women, models, wafy, thin, light-skinned women. He would attract them with his money. Again, this is before social media, before people had phones on their cameras on their phones. And every time you saw Russell, he's with a different woman. He was enjoying his life in that way. He had unlimited funding. He had a crew of people, and I don't care who is the cheerleader for Russell Simmons. As far as I'm concerned, it's the victims all day. Because I know what it's like to be a victim. I stand with the Drew Dixons of the world. I stand with these women who say that Russell did this and Russell did that. He did do this and he did do that, as far as I'm concerned. Wow. Believe them.
Wow. Thank y'all for coming. God bless you. Good night. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. One last question. I'll be sure.
My homie, he's from Mount Vernon. I'm from Mount Vernon.
Yeah, I know that I know that you guys know each other fairly well. So, what are your thoughts on that? What actually happened to Al B. Sure?
Well, there's a lot of conspiracy theories, right, that we're hearing, and I gotta let Al have his truth, but Al is in his years. And I'm 59. I think he's a little shy of my age. This is a man who in his 50s went into the boxing ring recently. And not for nothing, but then his health started to waver afterwards. And so now he's blaming this, that, and the third. So again, I got to give him his truth. You know, you say what you think it is, but in my opinion, like this is his story. He could tell his story the way he sees it, but I think we have to be realistic, and we have to look at all of the we have to in terms of putting these pieces together. I'm By the way, I'm pro Albie Shore, I'm pro uh, Mary J. Blige, I'm pro Kim Porter, right? It's Team Us, but I want to see some facts and figures, and I want to see some, like I'm dropping the gems today. I want to see them come together, because right now it's very we're all spread out. Everybody either going up on this social media, dropping it here on the shade room, and this and that. Like there's no thread to it all. Let's make sense of it all and come together. Maybe have a discussion. Maybe have a group therapy. How about that? With the victims in a circle, have a sort of town hall meeting, if we will, with a moderator, like real talk. Let people have their say, because Al deserves to have his say. I would just say that you should not get in the boxing ring in your 50s. I'm sorry, just like don't do that, because you're gonna lose some marbles somewhere along the way. That's gonna be a real thing.
Yeah, yeah. You know, he's just trying to keep his ish quick. You know what I mean? He's just trying to keep his chops tight. But I do understand what you mean, though. So Relentless. First off, I want to say thank you so much for being here and sharing your story with us. You know, I think it's amazing that you're still standing strong. You're still here. I mean, you were at death's door pretty much. You know what I mean? And you still were able to soldier through, and you're still here to tell the story, which is more important, that you're alive to tell the story, right? And now that you are working with Tony Busby as well, I think that's a huge move and great news, because hopefully you'll get the justice that you feel is rightfully deserved, right? But again, guys, I do want to make sure you guys know about this book. Okay, this book is out there right now as we speak. I got the QR code here I'm going to show in a second, but The Night Puff Tried to Kill Me. Okay, and it's under the pen name D. Gilmore, a memoir by D. Gilmore. Okay.
That's my birth name, by the way. So
yes.
If anybody's curious, like the world knows me as Relentless Aaron, because I've written all these books, and I write books for other people. But
right.
This one I had to put in my birth name, because this is a memoir. This is like a real detailed a true account of what happened to me and all of the nuances that go with it. So yeah, this is a true story.
No doubt. Here is the QR code, guys. Please go over there if you're interested in getting your hands on the book. Okay, it's very affordable. Okay,
it's a cup of coffee.
It's $4. It's literally $4, guys. So I definitely highly recommend you guys go and check it out. You know, as you could tell, he's a hell of a storyteller. You know, he did a really, wonderful job just breaking it down for all of us and all that. So I'm leaving that QR code up just for a few more seconds, so you guys can, take a photo of this or screenshot it or whatever you need to do and take a look at it. It's a memoir, so it's short. It's a few pages. About 10 pages more than the Kim's lost words. Okay, yeah. So you could read through that, breeze through that in one sitting. Real talk.
But also you'll be inspired, because I talk de-escalation at this point, because you get up in your years, right. You realize there's a lot of violence in hip hop. We just recently celebrated 50 years in hip hop, but how about 50 years of hip hop violence? Because there are a lot of people that have been lost to gun violence.
No doubt.
That were at the party, that had a shootout after the party. Then there's all of the celebrities that have been with women that maybe that's not spoken about. There's a lot of fan and rapper activity. There's a lot of beefs between rappers. There's the deaths recently of like the XCM, all of the PMB, all of the rappers that are dying now. And I think that we need to talk more about that, because by the way, one of my books is called Rappers Are in Danger, and it really does speak to the what's going on behind the scenes. I think we need to really put a lid on this so there could be less violence in hip hop, not just at the parties, but also in these equations when you have the rapper and he's supposed to have a certain amount of discipline, there's a certain amount of temptation there. So like where's the mentors? Where are the mentors in these equations? Where not the lawyer, not your mommy? Where are the mentors that are saying, bro, chill. I need you to chill. We're not doing that. You know, I know she's cute, but we're not doing that. No, you're not gonna suck her toes on camera in the limousine for everybody to see. No, you're not going to do that. No, Ray J, you're not going to do this. No, you know, like, you see what I'm saying? No, Chris Brown,
absolutely.
No, stop that right now.
Absolutely.
Stop that right now. So we need the mentors in our lives to put the hand of God on our shoulders, like the big brother. Say, no, we're not doing that. You have a legacy. You got people that you're paying. You got people that enjoy your music and your content. Stay here in this lane.
No
Forget
doubt.
about that. You got temptation. You got to get. Let's go to the gym. Let's hit the bag. Let's lift some weights. Let's have some other tension relieving activity versus you take it out on some woman's mouth or in some woman's rectum. You understand? Because this is what's going on.
No
this
doubt.
Is what he did for 30 years. You're saying it's 120 victims, and I'm saying it's more like in the thousands.
Oh, I'm sure it's going to be more than just a couple hundred. Just give it time. It's coming. Okay. It's definitely coming. But Relentless, I appreciate you just dropping the knowledge, dropping the information, sharing your story with us, sharing your book with us. I really do appreciate it. Again, I definitely would love to have you back on when we get more info dropped here, because you know for a fact over this October, it's going to be like pandemonium for Diddy. Okay. Nothing but case after case, lawsuit after lawsuit coming for him. So we'd love to get you back on when we get more.
You got
more
it. Thank you, Pascal. I appreciate your energy and how you are TLC for victims. And also I share that moment in time with you yesterday when we heard the press conference and how young this goes. There are many more victims out there, folks. And I think we need to call it what it is. Stop praising this guy. Get out of the fandom, the fantasy that you're dealing with. Fantasy. Stop it. Stop being brainwashed by the music and the Diddy bop. Okay, and see that these are real people that have encountered real things by a monster.
No doubt.
He's just a monster, and then he needs to be kept off the streets. My message to the district attorney and to the judge in New York: keep him confined no matter what, because the moment he gets out, he has access now. And that's what we don't need. We don't need more victims.
No doubt. Beautifully said, Relentless. I appreciate you, man. We'll be talking soon. Much love to you, brother.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon. All right, man. Peace. So huge thank you to Relentless for coming on and being a part of the conversation. It really does mean a lot. Again, let me just emphasize or remind you guys, the QR code is right here as we speak. Go check it out. The book is called The Night Puff Tried to Kill Me. Okay. It is available right now. It is not super expensive. Okay. It's less than $5. All right. Here's the QR code if you want to hear his story and more details leading up to everything that went down during this wild car chase in the middle of the night streets of Manhattan like that. Definitely you want to go and check it out and read it for yourself. Okay. But real quick, thank you so much, Mimi, for all the super stickers. I really do appreciate it. Darla and Mermaid, thank you so much for becoming members. Welcome to the family. And guys, please be sure to hit that join button down below. Become a member if you can, please. And thank you. Okay. Carbonized, thank you so much for the love and join the stream. Of course you are. You're here. I see you. That's kind of creepy, Carbonized. I'm not going to lie. That's kind of creepy, though. But show some gratitude by crushing that like It's free support. You know what? Now, I wasn't using the sound effects too much because I was trying to be respectful, but I'm going to use it now. I'm going to get them all out of my system right now. But yes, indeed. Okay. Hit that like button down below. We are almost at 1.5K. Okay. Jen, thank you so much for being a member for the past 20 months. Damn. Thank you so much. Almost 2 whole years. That's a whole lot of love. A whole lot of love. Thank you so much. Amazing interview, Pascal. Thank you. Much love. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm trying to get these interviews, man. I'm trying to get more of these interviews. It's just not easy. It's hard to get in touch with people. People are not returning emails, phone calls. Nobody wants to be my friend. I'm kidding. But still, it's just hard to get in touch with people a lot of times, man. Real talk. It could be really, really difficult. So I appreciate you guys, enjoying this one. There are more. I'm working on a whole lot more. And it's all Diddy stuff, but that's why Diddy is the thing right now. Okay? Diddy is the thing. And it's going to be the thing for a little while, right? Yes, we're of course covering other cases and other stories as well, but at the same time, this is a big deal. This is a very big deal. This is history in the making. Let me just keep it a buck. This is history in the making. So we can't miss out on history. Can we? But anyway, guys, as you guys heard him, it is pretty crazy, the stuff that people have gone through. It's tragic. It's terrifying. And there's thousands of people that have gone through something at the hands of a monster like Diddy. And it's just so wild to even think that. But as the world continues turning, we're going to hear some more stuff here very, very soon. Trust and believe. And it's going to be wild. It's already wild. But I think it's going to get messier here in a second. All we got to do is maintain our cool, maintain our sanity, and stick to the facts, right? Stick to the information and the paperwork. That's what I think matters the most. Anyway, guys, that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. Again, thank you for being here. It really means a lot. You guys could have spent your evening anywhere else, but you decided to spend it with me. And that is a blessing. So thank you guys so much for being here. Please do me a favor before we head out. Don't forget to hit that like button down below before you head out. Okay, it's a simple ask. Hit that like button down below. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. Hit that reaction button, please. Don't forget to hit that follow button as well. Follow me on my other platforms, dagnabbit. Okay? Hit that like button. That follow button on Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, and the TikTok. Go. We're on all that mess. All right? Go check it out. Also, subscribe here on my main channel. Go over to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Please go check out the second channel. Subscribe. We're this close to 10K over there. Literally, we're this close to 10K over there. So subscribe to both because I'm giving you news on both platforms. Okay? And you're getting a little bit more variety in the second channel right now. Okay? Because right now the lives are really Diddy-centric as of late. Okay? So please do that. Do me that solid. Subscribe to both. Also, hit that join button down below like a couple of you guys just became members. Thank you so much for becoming members. But hit that join button down below. If you want to support the channel even further, go to Patreon. Patreon.com/The Pascal Show. Show some love and check that Patreon out. Also, I got a merch page with fire merch. My merch be fire. Okay, so go over there. Check out the merch, baby. Not too hard to ask. PascalMerch.com. Okay? Anyway, guys, it is time to get going. Much love to all y'all. Have a great night, my lovelies. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for sure. Because we still got to talk. And we still got stories to tell. And this crazy train, this crazy Diddy train is going straight down into a dark hole of oblivion. And we are watching it all and enjoying every minute of it. Anyway, guys, it's time to get going. Much love to you guys. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. We'll talk soon. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.